Namaste friends, welcome you all for the biology session. In today's class, let us discuss about the chapter Reproductive Health, that is from 2nd PU chapter, biology syllabus. So this is MGS here from CET Sankalp crash course. So as we all know that, if you want to maintain what is the good health, we have to maintain that in all aspects. So what is that reproductive health? So reproductive health, what is it? It is the total well-being in all aspects of reproduction. Total well-being in all aspects of reproduction. So what are those aspects which includes? So in all aspects means mainly it includes what is that? The physical, emotional, behavioral and social well-being. That is physical, emotional, behavioral and social aspects. So once if you're going to maintain that with respect to the reproduction. So in this chapter we're going to discuss about the action plans and programs and how we can control those sexually transmitted diseases right now. So for the first time in India, to overcome from that problems along with some strategies, right, which will going to bring some action plans. So problems and strategies, right, to they enhance the reproductive health in India. They brought the action plans. So these action plans along with certain programs to they provide good the health. So that is strategies which includes mainly here one very important thing, right? So strategies like the family planning. So one action plan program, that is which the announced by Indian government, or you can say that where they initiated, that is family planning program. So family the planning program, right? So in which generally they're going to they initiated in 1951. We can expect this question, and that is mainly to attain good reproductive health. So that is this is to attain the good reproductive health. So next in this case, the many the other programs which were involved. One is reproductive the child health care. So reproductive and child health care. So reproductive and child health care, one more program, reproductive and child health care to take care of both the mother and along with the infant. That program initiated, that is in 1997. So in 1951 the family planning program, and in 1997 that is the reproductive and child health care. So that is the major objective. This you can also expect this. One is creating awareness. One is creating awareness about the reproductive health. And whenever we're going to creating awareness among those the various the people, so keep in mind that awareness about the various aspects of reproduction, right? So various aspects, awareness about various aspects of reproduction. And one more thing, if you're going to provide only awareness, only the right, you can say that the instructions, it is not useful. So that is why along with that they provided facilities. So one is creating awareness, along with that so providing the facilities and support. This is very very important. So providing facilities and support so that they can utilize at the maximum level to overcome from that problem. So it includes many the using audio visual, the AV audio video, the or you can say print media, mainly to create awareness about reproduction. So you can say that audio video, which includes what is the audio video aids, right? Along with that, the print media. So this is where we can say that is audio video, right? So audio video, what is the you can write here audio video awareness, and along with that print media. They started using print media. So whenever they started using this, the print media, what is that they're going to reach so many people, a large population. Then to encourage, mainly here they started encouraging what is it, the sex education. They provided what is it, sex education. Along with that, how we can what is it, the provide a particular information, right? So to give a right information to the young minds. So sex education in schools, and giving information about sex organs. What is it, giving information about what can say that the sex organs, and along with that the adolescents, how the reproductive organs will be there, and how they're going to change when the fellow will going to attain adolescence, right? That is puberty. So right, so and along with that related changes, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, sometime that adolescence changes ni ನಾವು disorder ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀವಿ. That is wrong. So that is why they started what is it, the providing complete sex education in the schools, and how the reproductive organs and adolescence related changes will be there. So once we know that, definitely we won't what is it, the think more, and psychologically we won't disturb. So this is what the thing we have to keep in mind. And along with that, the awareness, what is it, the of problems due to what is it, the uncontrolled population. So what it may leads to, if the population keep on increases, it leads to what is it, the sex abuse and sex related crimes, correct, right? If more the population, generally we can say that the sex related problems, where you can say that the sex abuse, and along with that sex related crimes. So to what is it, they bring or reduce this sex related crimes, they started giving what is it, providing awareness of what is it, the uncontrolled population growth. And very important thing, that is statutory ban on amniocentesis. So I think the second year students are completely familiar with that. Amniocentesis, that is a technique generally which is used to know the chromosomal what is it, the disorders, or I can say chromosomal aberration. But that is it, that illegally they started using this for sex determination, right? If fetus is the female, they used to done female feticides, they used to kill, right? So that is what we can say, by using amniotic fluid which surrounds the embryo, that was for to know the any what is it, the chromosomal disorders. But later they started using this for what is it, the sex determination, and that finally leads to what is it, the female feticides. So that is what, to legally check the increasing female feticide, they ban, right? They ban this statutory ban, what is it, of amniocentesis, mainly to legally check. This question we can expect, legally check increasing female feticides. So female feticide means that is the killing of what is that, the female embryo, or you can say that the female fetus, right? So now we know that the population explosion is mainly because of what I can say that the uncontrolled birth, like size and growth rate. Tremendous increase in size and growth rate of population is called as population explosion. So how we can, what is it, generally we can, what is it, they say that what are the reason. So here we can expect the, what is it, the reason for this, the reason for population explosion, right? As we all know that generally population explosion reason, that is where we can, what is it, the one thing we can say that is the decline in death rate, that is death rate is decreased due to decline in death rate. And the second one, what is it, a decline in MMR, maternal mortality rate, and IMR, infant mortality rate. And one more, that is the increase in number of what is it, the people who are in reproductive age, increase what is it, the number of people in reproductive age, people in what is it, reproductive age. So as and when this will be there in this case, so these are the causes where the population will going to increase. To reduce this, we have to what is it, the increase the marriageable age, to reduce, mainly to reduce the population. So marriageable age should be what is it, the increase, that is girls above what is it, the 18 years, after 18 years now it has changed up to 21 in case of what is it, the 18 years in case of girls, whereas above 21 in case of boys, that is a marriageable age. So when we're going to what is it, the use this, we can reduce the population. So in this we can also add one more thing. They started giving what is the birth control measures. So birth control measures which will be there. So in this case generally where we can use what are the some motivation things, right? By that we can provide incentives, or you can say that the motivate a smaller families by using various what is it, contraceptive methods. So birth control measures mainly which includes contraceptive what is it, the measures. So in this contraceptive measures which includes mainly, that is the many things, but here one more question we can expect: the characteristic feature of ideal contraceptives. So ideal contraceptives ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು, ಅದು ಯೂಸರ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಲಿ ಆಗಿರಬೇಕು, ರೈಟ್? ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಒನ್, ಇಟ್ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಅವೈಲಬಲ್ ಈಸಿಲಿ, ಯೂಸರ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಲಿ, ರೈಟ್? ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ಅವೈಲಬಲ್ easily, should be available easily, and effective and reversible it should be, right? It should be effective and reversible. So when it is effective and reversible, then we can use that contraceptives with very least side effects. What is it? With no or least side effects. There should not be a side effects, or if it is there, it should be very less. So these are the characteristic feature if you want to consider. And non-interfering, it should not interfere with what is it, the sexual drive, or against the act, sexual act, right? So act of user, it should not what is it, the interfering, non-interfering, right? So here we can say that non-interfering. So these are the things which should be there. So whenever we are going to use these things, so generally we can say that that is the best what is it, the contraceptive. So and in that, let us take what is it, in today's class complete contraceptives and how what is it that will be used. So one, in this we can say that the temporary and permanent contraceptives we have. So in case of what is it, the first one, that is the temporary, right? So the temporary contraceptives which will be there, right, they prevent conception for limited period. Why they are going to consider as a temporary? So in case of temporary, they will prevent conception, prevent what is it, the conception for temporary, or you can say that for limited time period, right? For limited period. So it is not what is it, the permanent, right? And which includes mainly one in this, that is the natural method. So in this natural method, the one which is we can say that is the where we are going to say that the to avoid, it is based on the principle avoiding meeting of gametes, that is avoiding what is it, fertilization. Is principle behind this avoiding fertilization. So principle that is avoiding fertilization. So this we can expect. So behind natural method, the principle behind natural method is avoiding fertilization. That is where by avoiding meeting of gametes, both what is it, the male and female gametes, right? Physical meeting. So how that is what is it, the without using any physical or chemical aids, that is natural method. What is that here? Without using, natural only we are telling, that is without using, avoiding fertilization without using physical or chemical aid, physical or chemical aid. So these are the natural methods. So under this we can take one, that is the periodic abstinence. So in case of this, very important thing, so periodic abstinence, that means abstain. So in case of periodic abstinence, or we can say a rhythm method, so in this the person will going to avoid what is it, the coitus, right? Avoid what is it, the sex or coitus from 10th day to 17th day, this is very important, 17th day of menstrual cycle of that particular female. So menstrual cycle. So when we're going to avoid this particular coitus, 10th day to 17th day. Why? Because there won't be, generally we can say that the 10th day, and exactly on 14th day, 3 days before the ovulation, 14th day we all know that is ovulatory phase. So ovulation takes place. Hello, 14th day ovulation agate. Before 3 days and after the 3 days, if they're going to avoid the coitus, then conception can be avoided. And here one more, which is in this, we can say that the lactational amenorrhea, right? Lactational amenorrhea. So these are the very, very important terms. Amenorrhea. So amenorrhea, where you can say that no menstruation. Generally, no menstruation. Amenorrhea, absence of menstruation. Amenorrhea means no menstrual cycle. Menstrual cycle. So reason behind that, right, during a period of intense lactation, that is lactational period, when mother used to give they feed milk, right, breast milk. So intense lactation time only there won't be the menstrual cycle. If no menstrual cycle, no ovulation, we can't expect fertilization. So fertilization won't be there. So that is natural. And the third one here we can take coitus interruptus. So in case of this, the coitus interruptus, where without using any the barrier, right, we're going to use only the technique, where we can say that the natural method, which is also called as withdrawal method. So coitus interruptus or withdrawal method. So in this, mainly we can say the male will going to withdraw is the penis, right? Withdraw of penis from the female vagina, that is from the vagina, right, by the male. So withdraw of penis from the vagina by the male, right, before ejaculation, that is just before ejaculation. So this is one technique where to avoid the meeting of sperm. And so here we can say that the semen won't deposited. Therefore, where semen won't or not deposited in vagina. So when semen is not deposited in the vagina, we can't expect the fertilization. So this is one. And one is a natural method under the temporary. The temporary. And one more, that is the second type, which is a barrier method. So in this barrier method, condoms and diaphragms will be used, right? So barriers, where they're going to use the condoms, right? In this, they generally first the condoms which generally used by both male and female will going to use. And that is which in male they used to cover the penis. Right, erectile penis. In female, they used to cover both vagina and cervix. So this is the one we can expect this question. In vagina, they're going to cover vagina and cervix. So when they're going to cover vagina and cervix, and in male, they're going to cover penis. So this is one before the coitus, right? So this is what. And condoms which will be used, this single use. This will be used for single use only. Right. And what is the other, the importance or significance of this condom? It prevents or safeguards against AIDS, right? So not only barrier, it also acts as the safeguard, right, safeguard against HIV, that is human immunovirus, which causes this is called as acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. So this is what you have to keep in mind. That is one kind of STDs, sexually transmitted diseases. And in this, under one more we can take, that is the diaphragm, cervical caps and vaults, right? So diaphragms, cervical caps, right, cervical caps and vaults. So with this, where we can say generally this will be used only by female. So this is very important, used by female, that is which will be inserted in the reproductive tract mainly to cover cervix, that is to cover what is it, the cervix. So this is very very important, to cover cervix. So here we can expect one, what is the question, diaphragm, cervical cap and vaults which will be used by female only to cover what is it, cervix. So this is a one point. And generally along with that they're going to use what is it, the spermicides. Such spermicides will be used to enhance their what is it, the efficiency, right? And here we can say that the some one more, that is the you can use creams, jellies and foams. So these are not barriers actually, these are chemicals. What is it, creams, jellies and what is it, the foams. Foams means they're tablets. Foams means generally they're going to use a kind of tablet, right, which is used along with diaphragm. This is very important. These are not directly used, indirectly used, used along with, right, used along with what is it, diaphragm, what is it, cervical cap and vaults, right, used along with diaphragm. So that is why we can say, right, whenever they're going to, if they want to enhance the efficiency of diaphragm, or you can say cervical caps and vaults, right, which is used by what is it, the female, along with that they're going to use creams, jellies and foams. So this is very very important. And permanent methods, so that is the second method, temporary, that is you have to keep it in mind. And permanent method, in this permanent method they're going to use vasectomy and tubectomy. This is for unlimited period, not for limited, that is permanently. So this also we can expect here. So unlimited and which we can say that the here we can say that is reversible. Some of temporary can be what is it, the reversible, right, whereas here what is it, the permanent, these are irreversible. So whenever we can't be able to what is it, the reverse, that is we can say irreversible, these are permanent methods which are also called as surgical method, or we can say the sterilization method. Surgical or sterilization method. So in this surgical or sterilization, so first in what is it, the male they're going to use vasectomy. Vasectomy, that is they're going to cut what is it, the vas difference. So here they're going to cut vas difference, and when the vas, if this is from the both what is it, the testes, where you can say that the vas difference which arises and extend up to the what is it, the urinary bladder and curves back and descends down, so where we can expect this generally. So this vas difference will be cut on both what is it, the what is it, which arises from both what is it, the testes. So that will going to cut. So this structure, if you consider, it will be going to cut here, and both ends will be tied. Both ends will be tied. What is it, they when tied up through a small cut on the scrotal sac. So they won't they generally cut what is the anywhere, that is they're going to cut the scrotum. They're going to cut the scrotal sac. As we all know that what is exactly the scrotal sac, that is which is going to cover the testis. So that is where here you can say the vast difference which will be cut and tied up through small incision. That is they're going to do this, what is that, small incision. So small incision or small cut through the scrotal sac, or you can say that the scrotum, right. So here it is not like they're going to completely cut and notice that they do any what is it, the surgery. Tubectomy, as we all know that here the testes which are present within the what is it, the scrotal sac, and which arises from the what is it, the scrotal sac is completely attached to the abdominal cavity, but it hangs down. Here in case of tubectomy, right, in case of tubectomy, where we can say that will be done in female, that is fallopian tube. They are going to cut the what is it, fallopian tube. So in this, what is it, the when they are going to cut the fallopian tube, right, a small cut fallopian tube will be cut through. That is here we can say that fallopian tube cut through the abdomen, because it is present in the abdominal cavity, not outside. So abdomen or through vagina. So these are the questions where we can expect in this. So and many what is it, the other what is it, where we can say one of and Iuds, which are in case of barrier, where I mentioned that generally some the condoms and other this one. So in this we can also use the other barriers. Where we can say in the barrier method the condoms, diaphragms, and the spermical you can say spermicidal creams. Along with that, here we can also use the one more. Here I will write here E. Let me explain that Iuds. This is also very important. So let me take this in case of the barriers, physical barriers. So Iuds, that is intrauterine devices. These are also used by the female, inserted in the uterus through vagina. Uterus inserted through the uterus inserted in the uterus, that is through vagina. Right. So this is also used in the female, and there are three types. One is non-mediated Iuds, that is non-mediated Iuds, where you can say here generally which includes Lippus loop. Example, non-mediated Lippus loop. So Lippus loop is the one which is used mainly which is used to increase the phagocytosis of the sperm. That increase the phagocytosis, that is engulfing sperms, right? That is phagocytosis of sperms in the uterus. Sperms in the uterus. So this is one where they're going to use as a physical barrier, and along with that they're going to use a copper releasing Iuds. The second one you can say that the copper releasing Iuds. So in this copper releasing Iuds, the copper which is going to suppress the sperm motility and fertilizing capacity. So copper which is present, so in this it will going to suppress the major the thing, phagocytosis of sperm. Both it includes phagocytosis and the copper which is present, that which is going to suppress, is going to release the copper ion that suppress the sperm motility. This is very important, that suppress both it shows phagocytosis and sperm motility, and along with that and fertilizing capacity, reduces the fertilizing capacity of the sperm, right? Capacity of sperm. So what are those? Generally you can say that the copper releasing Iuds, which includes copper T, and you can say that the multi-load, right? Multi-load 370, and along with that copper 7. So copper 7, copper T, copper 7 are the best examples which will be used. And next here the hormone releasing Iuds. So here they're going to release hormones, right? Like how copper releasing hormones, we're going to release a copper. These are the hormone releasing Iuds. So in case of hormone releasing Iuds, where you can say that the uterus, which will be using this, it makes uterus unstable. Or you can say makes uterus unsuitable, right? Right, for implantation. So implantation won't be able to take place if they're going to use this. So unsuitable makes the unsuitable for implantation. So that is what attachment of blastocyst to the endometrium, implantation, and the cervix, the cervix hostile to sperm. It's very difficult, right? And cervix hostile, which is not able to survive there, hostile to sperms, can't be able to provide good the condition or favorable condition, sperms which is going to die. So example you can say that is progestasert, and one more, that is LNG, levonorgestrel, 20, that is levonorgestrel, the 20. So these are the things, and along with that here one more we can mention, that is right. So along with that the contraceptives, where you can say that is mainly as we have mentioned, that is the barrier methods. Right? Barrier method, one is the in case of temporary natural barrier, Iuds, and that one is oral contraceptives. So here the oral contraceptives will be used. So these oral contraceptives which will be used, that is the oral pills, right? So oral pills which will be used, right, which are with what is it, the progestin. So this is then artificial, what is it, the progesterone, or you can say that the progestin. So it is a combination of both progestogen and estrogen, right? It has to taken by the female. It is also used by the female for 21 days, right? So it should be taken for 21 days, not on 20th, 21st day. That is from 5th day to after what is it, the menstruation phase, 5th day to 25th day. This tablet should be taken by that particular female. So what is the role of this oral contraceptives? Inhibits ovulation. It stops. One, we can say inhibits ovulation, and the second one, which makes endometrium unsuitable. It affects the what is it, endometrium unsuitable. So whenever they're going to use these tablets, implantation is very difficult, and where you can say that it changes the condition of the cervix, and it affects what is it, it affects by changing the condition of the cervix, where that its ability to allow the passage of what is the passage and transport of sperm will be affected. So it changes the condition, changes in cervical the mucus, and it will going to impair it. So when the cervical mucus is what is it, when the cervical mucus is affected, that is changes in cervical mucus, and which leads to impairing. So further it won't helps in what is it, the easy movement or passage and transport of, right, it affects, right, impairing. Further it affects passage and transport of what is it, the transport ability, or you can say transport of sperms. So this is very very important. It affects the production of cervical mucus, and further it will be affected to release. So in this case, so this is a one more you can say, that is what finally we can say, inhibits the motility and secretory activity of the fallopian tube. It also inhibits the motility, and secretory activity of fallopian tube. Secretory activity of fallopian tube. When fallopian tube won't perform its function, it won't show motility, that which can't be able to reach, the ovum can't be able to reach that ampullary junction and also sperm. So here it will be blocked, and here ovum can't be able to. So these are the things where we can say you have to keep it in mind. And there are injectable contraceptives and then implants. So here one very important thing, that is the one more type where we can mention, that is a fifth type, implants. So these implants which will be used, right? So implants with hormones which will be implanted. These are with hormones, right? So this will be there for long period. So sometimes some will be implanted once in every month, and some will be implanted some 5 years or 3 to 5 years once. So that is what you have to keep it in mind. So that is in the implants, they're going to implant with the hormone. What they're going to use, these barriers with the hormones, they're going to implant, right, subdermally. This will be implanted or inserted, what is it, implanted subdermally below the skin layer. That is by doctor, or you can say any experts, right? So and one more, this will be once in every month. So if they're going to use what is it, the implant with hormones, right, that is where you can say that there may be some fan shaped, some will be what is it, the matchstick shape, right? And there are different types. So some which will be used, these are some are with hormones, where you can say that with progestin only once in every month, but some will be for 3 to 5 years, that is for long run they're going to perform their function. And the last one here we can take, that is emergency pill. So in case of what is it, the emergency pill, that is after 72 hours, before 72 hours, that is emergency contraception. So to avoid pregnancy, or you can say that it is a treatment for unprotected sex, right? So treatment for unprotected sex. treatment for unprotected sex. So these are the things which will be used, and generally they are going to use, which are also called as the tablets which will be used, that is anti-progesterone pill. So anti-progesterone pill, and that will be used to treat unprotected sex, which they incorporated or initiated under the family planning only, and that is what these are also called as morning after pill, right? So morning after pill. So these morning after pill which will be used mainly to treat in case of emergency. So with this we can take some questions related to this. Let us solve questions. We can take some points in the next part. So which of the following, right? So which of the following statements are correct with reference to the test tube baby? So that is, we can say here we're going to use IVF-ET, in vitro fertilization embryo transfer technology. So that is, we're going to explain that in the next part. So even though that is the case, let me explain. Just mention here, fertilization of egg is completed outside the body, and the fertilized egg is then placed into the womb of the mother where gestation period is completed. Womb of the mother where gestation period is completed. So so this is the thing. We can take one statement. So in this, fertilization of egg is completed outside the body. That is also correct. Fertilization of the egg is completed in the female genital tract. It is taken out and grown in a large test tube. So that is wrong. Generally, we won't take. That is, permanently born baby is reared in an incubator. No, that will be transferred into the womb and where it will be provided natural condition with a surrogate mother. Fertilization of egg and growth of the embryo is completed in the large test tube. This is also wrong. So womb of the mother where the gestation period is completed. So egg is then placed. So this is what you have to keep it in mind. So fertilized egg will be placed, developed outside, and that will be placed into the womb. That is what womb, which is also called as uterus. Now next question. So which one of the following right, represents the correct match of sexually transmitted diseases with its pathogen? So generally we can say that there are many sexually transmitted diseases, like the HIV, gonorrhea, and then we can say that the syphilis, chancroid, genital warts, genital herpes. So these are all STDs. So in this we can say the chlamydia, which will be mainly the caused by chlamydiasis, right? So we can say that the bacteria. So and that is where we can say, whenever we're going to take that the trichomoniasis as a best example, which is caused by Trichomonas vaginalis. So syphilis, which is caused by Treponema pallidum, that is a bacteria, that is correct. So bacteria which will be generally which causes syphilis. So this is also correct. Sexually transmitted disease, right? And next, gonorrhea entamoeba histolytica. No, that is wrong. So gonorrhea, which is caused by Neisseria gonorrhoeae. I think it is very familiar. I can say bacteria, Neisseria gonorrhoeae, right? So Neisseria gonorrhoeae, which will be there, which causes the disease. This is also bacteria, right? So next, one more, that is the urethritis, which is generally caused by the bacteria, right? So no, it's not Bacillus anthracis. So this is one, that is a soft sore, Bacillus brevis. So sore in case of, we can say generally chancroid or in the genital wart, where the sore which will be produced, right? So that is soft, the soft sore which are generally caused by, right? I can say that is the one example where you can say that the protozoans, right? So in case of the Trichomonas vaginalis, so where you can say genital the discharge will be there, and where mainly it affects the mucous membrane, and that will going to cause soft sore. So this is also wrong. So answer is syphilis, Treponema pallidum. And same like that, in case of chancroid also we can say. So chancroid, which is caused by what is it? Haemophilus ducreyi, right? Haemophilus, which is caused by Haemophilus ducreyi or ducreyi, right? So Haemophilus ducreyi, so which causes, and what is it? The genital warts. So genital warts, which is also generally caused by, where you can say that the virus, genital warts and genital herpes. So genital warts, which is caused by, right, what is it? The genital warts, that is human papilloma virus, HPV, right? So HPV, right? So human papilloma virus, human papilloma virus, that is HPV in short form, and here you can say HSV, human simplex virus, right? Sorry, herpes simplex virus, not human, that is herpes simplex virus, herpes simplex virus. So these are the disorders, that is the sexually transmitted diseases. And AIDS, which caused by HIV, you all know that. Hepatitis B virus, hepatitis C virus, right? So that is what you have to keep in mind. And chlamydia, that is, we all know that chlamydia trachomatis, chlamydia which is caused by, right, chlamydia which is chlamydiasis, so that is caused by chlamydia, is it trachomatis. So these are the things which will be caused by, what is it, the diseases. These are the disorders. So given below 4 methods A&D and their modes of action and achieving contraception, select their correct matching from 4 options that follow. So method 1, the pill prevents a sperm reaching cervix. That is wrong. So where here we can say that is generally the pill which prevents the ovulation. Just now we discussed, that is A3. We have, what is the, in these 2 options. So these 2 we can eliminate. So that is A3. And then the condom, that where which generally we can say that the prevents sperm reaching cervix, right? So that is where it prevents sperms reaching cervix. And vasectomy, right, that generally we can say semen contain no sperm, semen will be released, where vas difference which is going to bring sperm only, not semen, right? The sperm which is going to enter into the urethra, that is where you can say that the into the penis. So sperm won't be there, but semen will be there. So semen which will be released, the semen, because of those glands which are, what is it, present next to the vas deferens. So that is what semen contains no sperm. That is also correct. So B1C, what is it, the 4. So here B1, here we can eliminate this also, and C is the correct answer. So copper T, that which prevents implantation. Copper T, that is copper releasing, what is the Iuds, copper T, or you can say that the multi-load 370, right? So these are the one which will be used. So answer is, what is it, this C. Third question answer is C. Which of the following 2 statements are not correct regarding contraceptions? So whenever we are going to take the contraceptions, so medical termination of pregnancy during first trimester is generally safe. That is also correct. Which are correct? It is correct. And generally the chances of conception nil until mother breastfeeds the infant up to 2 years. No, that is up to 6 months. That is what lactational amenorrhea. That is wrong. And intrauterine like copper T are effective contraceptives. Yes, these are the most effective contraceptives, right? That is Iuds. Iuds are generally, we will say that is the most effective contraceptives which will be used by the female. So among these methods, that is, we are going to consider the Iuds which are used, right? So that is the very effective next we can take. So A1 and 2 statement, third statement is correct. And contraception pills may taken up to 1 week after coitus prevent conception. No, that is generally 5th day to 24th or 25th day. So 5th day to 24th day, these pills will be taken. You can say 25th day. Total 21 days which will be taken, not for 1 week. So that is also wrong statement. So answer is, that is 1 and 3 are correct. So that is A is correct. So next, which of the following is correct during HIV, hepatitis B and gonorrhea and trichomoniasis? So in this case, generally we can say that is trichomoniasis is STD where others are not. No, all are STDs. Gonorrhea is a viral disease where others are bacterial disease. No. HIV is also, that is HIV is a pathogen actually. Right, trichomoniasis is STD where others are not. Right, so others are also STD, hepatitis B, gonorrhea and trichomoniasis, and HIV is a virus. HIV is the pathogen actually, it is not a disease, it is a pathogen. So HIV is a pathogen whereas others are disease. So that is correct statement. So hepatitis B is eradicated completely whereas others are not. No, almost all, what is it, on these, not completely, hepatitis B is not eradicated completely. Hepatitis C is also not eradicated. So that is the one. So in the given figure shown below particular and select what it represents. Given figure represents what? So in this case, generally that is in the 6th question. So ovarian cancer, that is wrong. Uterine cancer, wrong. So surgical method, that is done in the fallopian tube. So fallopian tube, which is also called as generally what is it, the tubectomy, that is where you can say oviduct. Fallopian tube, which is also called as oviduct, and that will be cut in case of tubectomy. Vasectomy in case of male, tubectomy in female. So this is a female reproductive structure. So next in this, here read the given statement and select the correct option. So diaphragm, cervical caps and walls are made of rubber and are inserted into the female reproductive tract and cover the cervix before coitus. So whenever we are going to consider that, generally, see these diaphragm, cervical caps and what is it used by the female, that is cover the cervix, correct. So in these chemical barriers, what is it of conception which are reusable? No, these are not what is the reusable. So answer for that is, the statement 1 is correct, statement 2 is wrong. Statement 1 and 2 are correct, wrong. 1 and 2 are correct, wrong. Statement 1 is correct, statement 2 is incorrect. So C is the answer. Next, which of the, what is it, the match the contraceptive methods given under column 1 and 1 with their examples given under column 2. Select the correct option, codes. So generally we can say that the chemical, what is it, the barriers which will be used, what is it, is spermicidal and jelly and foam. In the previous question we discussed here. See, these are chemical barriers. No, these are not a chemical barriers. So jellies, foams and what is it, the foams, jellies and the, along with that, the which will be used along with the those physical barriers, right? These are the chemicals, right? So that is A4. Iuds, that is copper, T and Lipus loop, the best example, right? So that is, what is it, the, generally in this case we can take that B, what is it, the 2, right? A4, B2. So A4, B2 in this we have, here it is not there, A4, B2. So A and D can be the correct answer. Let us take next. Barriers. So generally barriers, the coitus interruptus and what is the calendar method. So C is, what is the 5th. C is the 5th one. So generally here you can say barriers and, sorry, that is the barriers which coitus interruptus and calendar method. There is a rhythmic method. There is a natural method. So here we won't have that. And here this B3, B2, C3 and sterilization method, that is tubectomy, that is D1. So C3 and D1. So A is the answer. 8. Which of the following is wrongly matched right? So IUI, ZIFT, and ICSI, and what is it? The GIFT and ZIFT. Gamete intrapallopian transfer, zygote intrapallopian transfer, intracytoplasmic sperm injection, intrauterine insemination. So these are generally which are what is the used in IVF ET. In detail, I'll explain that in the next what is the part. So just let us take which is wrongly matched. That is, I already mentioned that there is a semen collected from the husband or donor artificially introduced either into the vagina or to the uterus. That is correct. So whenever we are going to say this is correct, and then gift, that is gamete, this is intrauterine insemination. Intrauterine insemination. So that is what the inseminated semen into the. So let me write here IUI, intrauterine insemination. What is that? Intrauterine insemination. This is the one that is correct. And gift, gamete intrapallopian transfer. Gamete intrapallopian transfer. So that will be used. And then transfer of embryo, not embryo, that is a gamete, with more than 8 blastomeres. That is wrong. Right? So here zygote, what is the intrapallopian transfer? That is zygote into the fallopian and that will be less than. So up to 8 blastomeres into the fallopian tube. Transfer of up to 8 zygote intrafallopian transfer. So here this is up to 8. This is also correct. I see sperm directly injected into ovum. That is also correct. Intracytoplasmic sperm injection. Intracytoplasmic sperm injection. So that will be used to inject the sperm. That is also correct. So A is also correct. And gift, transfer of embryos, no, that is wrong. So here we can say B is, what is it, the wrong matched. So B is wrong match. So answer for that is, so what is it? Gift, gamete, not, they won't transfer, what is it, the embryo. Embryo in case of, what is it, this ZIFT and IUT. Embryo in case of, what is that, ZIFT and IUT. So ZIFT ಏನು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಫೆಲೋಪಿಯನ್ ಟ್ಯೂಬ್ಗೆ ಇನ್ಸರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅಪ್ ಟು 8 ಬ್ಲಾಸ್ಟೋಮಿಯರ್ಸು ಜಿಫ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ. IUT ಏನು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಇಂಟ್ರಾಯೂಟರೈನ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ what is it, more than 8 blastomeres. Embryo more than 8 blastomeres into the uterus, because uterus is little larger than the fallopian tube. That is why it is zygote intrafallopian transfer. Here it is, what is that, intrauterine transfer. More than 8 blastomere will be used. So next, which of the, so answer for this is B, 9th one, B. And let us say 10th question, which of the following contraceptive methods are correctly matched with the mode of actions? So that is tubectomy, right? So this is which will be done, what is the, we're going to which of the following mode of matches mode of action? So tubectomy make uterus unsuitable for implantation. No, that is wrong. And then oral pills inhibit the ovulation and implantation. That is correct. Diaphragms, spermicidal, increases phagocytosis of sperm within the uterus. No, that is used in the cervix actually. Used for cervix. That is also wrong. Iuds, what is it? The block gamete transport. So intrauterine, that is, they won't block. Generally in case of Iuds, where they are going to suppress, or you can say that the in case of Iuds, they are going to use that mainly to as a copper releasing. They are going to suppress the sperm motility or uterus unsuitable for implantation. They won't block generally. Suppress the sperm motility. The gamete transport won't be blocked here. Oral pills which is going to do. This is also wrong. So contraceptive method correctly matched to the mode of action is oral pills. That is 10th one, B is the answer. 10th one, B is the answer. Next, 11th question. So which of the following is non-medicated or non-mediated intrauterine device? So as we all know that intrauterine device which is non-mediated, that is a lipus loop, and these are these two are the copper releasing hormones, releasing copper releasing Iuds, and LNG is hormone releasing Iuds. So lipus loop is non-medicated or non-mediated intrauterine device, IUD. Next, copper T is an intrauterine contraceptive. Device. From the following the mentioned statement, select the option that correctly defines the role of copper. So already I mentioned that where it will going to suppress the motility and also suppresses the fertilizing capacity of the sperm. Copper ions make uterus unsuitable for implantation. Wrong. It suppress the sperm motility and fertilizing capacity of the sperms. This is also correct. Copper ions make cervix hostile. Wrong. So all of this. So B is the answer for the 12th question. And progestin estradiol combined contraceptives. So progestin estradiol combined contraceptives, that is doubly combined contraceptives. So where we can say in the 13th question, right? Negative feedback of release of estrogen from required for follicular development in follicular phase. So that is where we can say that preventing the uterine physiological and morphological changes for implantation. Wrong. Inhibiting the secretion of follicle stimulating hormone, that FSH, and luteinizing hormone that are necessary for ovulation. So here C is the correct answer, which inhibits both FSH and LH which are required for ovulation. Right. So that is where you can say that 13th C is the answer. Next, assisted reproductive technology, ART, which is also called as IVF-ET. So in this, which includes social awareness program to educate about the reproductive health and disease, that is in RCH actually. So that is where we can say this is the wrong, we can't select. Include research organization working on to produce new and more effective contraceptives. No, that is also wrong. So in case of the 14th question, where include number of special techniques, the ART, which includes to assist the infertile couples to have children, even though if they're going to have unprotected sex, they can't be able to maintain, female can't be able to maintain conception up to 2 years. That is what infertility or infertility. So to overcome from that problem, they're going to use this ART technologies, assisted reproductive technologies, to assist the infertile couples to have child. So 14th C. Main advantage of intrauterine contraceptive devices, that is intrauterine contraceptive devices, or we can say that the intrauterine devices. But intrauterine is going to insert it into the inserted into the uterus. So in case of the 15, the devices are permanently placed. No, that is temporarily placed, right, which are reversible, right? Temporarily placed, cannot be removed even couple want to have a child, so they can remove. Device has to be inserted by the physician in the uterus through vagina. So whenever they're going to use this, generally Iuds, the device has to be inserted by the physician. That is where you can say expert, where in this will be used, and devices are expelled out without a knowledge of wearer. So in this case, the main disadvantage they are asking. So one is that yes, always which is required. This is also correct, but physician or expert should insert. But without without the knowledge of wearer, it will come out. So that is a one major drawback in this case. So generally these are which will be comes out of the out of the uterus. So next class we will continue next part. Thank you.